Good morning. We did it. We made it. We're back, baby. I hope you're ready for another interesting and exciting day. All right, so just off the bat, these are some of the tickers I'm looking at today. We are in Zoom, Roku, Bimmy, just watching Qs and SPY overall market. Let's pull up the port real quick for the challenge account. Currently down a lot. So we were at 1,800 almost pre-market yesterday. Came down to like 1,400, so that's all right. But here are the plays that we're in. So we did take the Amazon 3,800 call for the lotto. For earnings, we are in SPY 460 calls, trying to see if market bounces off the earnings pump from Microsoft. Facebook, this is kind of just a freebie. Zoom and Roku are our higher conviction plays here. We did get some shares of Mark and some shares of Bimmy. The Bimmy shares did actually turn negative after hours, but they were up from our entry. I think that, they ran up, so we just never exited those. So anyway, I did say those could be a multi-month swing, excuse me. So we'll see how those play out. Same thing with Remark Holdings. Kind of did this last time. We got in this kind of like on a quick one. Got the 225s and then sold them around $4 or $3. So we'll be trying to play this again. Nice thing with shares is technically you can have them for long term. So we'll see how those play out. I'm more focused on the options here, baby. Let's get that out of the way and let's get into some headlines for the morning, okay? Good morning. Hi, chat. Hit the like button for the plays. If you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe because we're doing this Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, and we're live, baby. So, if you want to catch the plays, if you want to catch the new hot stock picks and options alerts, hit that like button. And once we run up the likes, we'll definitely get those trades out there. But you gotta put in the effort, baby. All right, so some headlines and some news regarding the United States stock market index. So U.S. stock futures were slightly affected on Wednesday after major indices hit new record highs the day before. We had earnings from Coke, McDonald's, GM, which came better than expected, while losses from Boeing were way bigger than the forecast expected. Microsoft and Alphabet, or Google, gained in pre-market trading after posting a record quarterly revenue, along with Twitter, after stating that Apple's privacy updates have less of an impact on its results. Some notable earnings after the bell. We have Ford and eBay, which are due to report after the closing bell. We got a few other ones too, so we'll take a look at that throughout the day. But that's kind of that for the United States Stock Market Index, or US 30 info. Some news regarding mortgage applications. Mortgage applications in the U.S. edged up about 0.3% in the latest week, following a 6% rough drop in the previous period. Applications to purchase a home actually increased 3.5%, while those to refinance a home loan declined by 1.6%. The average fixed 30-year mortgage rate continued to rise to 3.3% from 3.23%, so up about 0.10%, which is the highest it's been since early April. We have a quote here from Joel Kahn, from the MBA's Associate Vice President. So he says that the increase in rates triggered the fifth straight decrease in refinance activity to the slowest weekly pace since January 2020. Higher rates continue to reduce borrowers' incentive to refinance, and both new and existing home sales last month were at their strongest sales pace since early 2021, but first-time home buyers are accounting for a declining share of activity. So very interesting to see how the numbers in the mortgage industry are working out. That all relates to pretty much banks and finance and how they might be performing for their earnings and quarters. So the next thing we have also is crude oil, or Brent crude oil. So Brent crude futures fell about 1% to around 85.5 a barrel on Wednesday for those who are into the commodities in oil. After the API report showed U.S. crude inventories rose by more than expected last week, both gas and distillate stockpiles unexpectedly increased as well. The report also showed crude supplies at Cushing declined the most since January, with supply levels already at the lowest since 2018. Market participants await U.S. government data later in the day today, so we'll see how that all plays out. The benchmark Brent crude has been on an upward trajectory since the fourth week of August to reach three-year highs at $86.5 amid supply tightness, and as soaring natural gas, coal prices drove a switch to fuel for power generation and heating. So, a little bit of news there, nothing too crazy. Let's see if we can get some of the earnings plays coming up. And some notable earnings. I hope you're feeling good, baby. I hope you have the armor on and you're ready. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So, earnings. We are now on Wednesday. Let's zoom out of this a little bit. There we go. All right. So, before the open, we had Boeing, Coke, McDonald's, GM, like we just spoke about. Spotify's up in pre-earnings after the earnings move. They did pretty well. Let's get Spotify up here. So, Boeing, rough earnings, I guess, but I guess the price action did pretty well. So, let's see what they're going with. Yeah, they missed quarter three analyst earnings target, but they have 700. But the 737 production target takes flight. So, I guess really it's based off what their production looks like in their supply chain. So the fact that they're actually moving in the supply chain seems like they're doing okay. Clicks positive operating margin. Interesting. So Boeing could be a play after the good earnings. We'll see how this plays out. Weirdly, I've said this multiple times, earnings, or Boeing itself has bad news, and they do well. They get good news, and they do bad. At least price action seems to follow that way. So with Boeing here, we're actually approaching the 20-day moving average. We could probably see a pop and continuation off the earnings move here if the bullish sentiment continues, and we could probably get back into this 220 level. So you could watch Boeing for a trade to 215 up to 220 if the price action follows. Regarding the other stock we were talking about, which was Spotify. Spotify actually had some pretty good news. Let's see. It looks like they beat earnings per share. No, estimate was minus 0.25, and they came in at 0.475. So let's see what's going on here. So they had user growth, company optimism from quarter four. So it looks like the guidance overall. Yeah, they quarter three loss narrows, revenue rises, company revises quarter four revenue outlook. So looks like they're revising their guidance for the next quarter, saying that they might have a stronger quarter next in Q4. So that's probably why they have the positive reaction there, especially with their revenue at least increasing. They missed on earnings per share, but the revenue was decent. So, that's another potential play here. Spotify kind of being a lagger in the Qs or in the stock market in general on the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ, not NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, sitting at around 252, pre-market's 270. So we're kind of like right here, almost sitting exactly at the 50-day moving average. Across above that, we could see this kind of leg up in the future weeks to come, as well as the future days to come. And that's what we're looking at, future days to come. So we could probably get over this little bridge here, or this little hump here, and then kind of, you could see here, maybe level up into 290s, maybe 300s, if the sentiment continues. Let's see what happens next. Okay. What else do we have today? So we have Upwork today, After Hours, eBay, Twilio, Teladoc, Ford, ServiceNow. So a couple big companies reporting after earnings, pretty notable. I think Twilio, Teladoc, ServiceNow, and Upwork could be a very interesting earnings to watch. Lending Club not interested, Ontario not interested, this I'm not interested, Align not really. So I'd say Teladoc, Twilio, ServiceNow, Ford not really. I don't really care for Ford right now. This is just like shares because it's so cheap. Teladoc, Twilio, ServiceNow around here, around this 653 level. But just see if the momentum pushes up, right? You do have that retest of all-time highs there, so I would just watch for that. Maybe get like a second wave here. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we got about 2 to 3 minutes until the market opens. I'll be right back. I love you. Hang tight, and let's get after it, baby. Yeah, Hood got crushed on their So now I would say this is a decent time. Watch the follow through on hood, because this could bounce back. I'm hoping this butters kind of like butters down a little bit under 30, 35. Hopefully this comes back down a little bit, sells off, and then we could pick a long